Hello, welcome to Gemstone Tarot. This is a video that is going to help you with the Mercury retrograde that we're currently in. It's running from January the 30th to February the 21st, but you have to kind of build in a couple of weeks either side for the shadow period, okay? If you want to know about the astrology, have a look on something like Cafe Astrology or Bracker Goldsmith or Gregory Scott. They've all got great videos. Pam Gregory is another one. They all have great videos on the astrology, but I'm here to help you with how to get through Mercury retrograde with the help of some tarot cards as well. We're going to throw a few cards. We're going to reveal a few little hacks. I know, because actually the thing I'm realizing as time goes on is that Mercury retrograde isn't an entirely negative thing. In lots of ways, if we can work with the energy, it's the most positive thing that we can do. I'm just drawing, that's interesting. And expect as well to get a lot of cards in your tarot reading in reverse during Mercury retrograde, but also expect, as I do, to get cards which are kind of sideways. They're in reverse, then they flip or they fall on the floor and you can't tell if they were in reverse. Yeah, use your intuition for that. Okay, what do we need to look out for in this particular Mercury retrograde? Happening to us at the moment, we're all in quite a strange situation world-wise anyway. We've got, first of all, the Six of Pentacles. There is a gift, and I have to say, and if you've watched me for a while, and do subscribe to the channel if you want to see my daily videos, my pick a card readings, and all of that good stuff, random love videos, etc. Hit the subscribe button and you'll get those. If you are a subscriber and you've watched me for a while, you will know that I don't always relish Mercury retrograde, okay? It does fill me with a little bit of dread, but this one has felt a little bit different. Can't quite explain it, but it has felt like a bit of a gift, like there might actually genuinely be something in it for us. You know how sometimes people try and give you the nice nasty sandwich and they tell you there's something positive when there's actually like one positive thing and about 10 negative things, usually in your appraisal at work? This is different, okay? I feel like it's got more to offer than it has to frustrate you. Six of Pentacles is a gift card, giving something to you. The universe is throwing you a bone here. And for some of you, weirdly, there's quite a lot of Pentacles have come out. This could be something to do with creating a business, anything that's creating financial gain. Whether that's tiny or you've got big plans, doesn't really matter. Both of those things come up. But there's a need here to use the energy, perhaps to work on an idea that you've had before. Even for this, you could have had that idea going back to childhood. It could have been one of those childhood dreams that got squished and life got in the way and you find yourself doing a job that you're not too bothered about for 10 years or whatever it is. And suddenly you think, I remember I used to love whatever it is, okay? Just use the energy to go back to something you loved or back to an idea that maybe you shelved for making money, for creating energy, for building business, for investing of any kind. It's particularly to do with finances. We also have with the Six of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles. Nice. I love the Ace of Pentacles. This is about creating something which, you can see it actually has got roots. Now, this could go back to last January when we were in Capricorn season. For some reason, it takes me back to that. Don't know why. Of course, the other thing about Mercury retrogrades is you can work with the previous retrograde. So if you just Google Mercury retrogrades 2020, have a look at when they came up. This is me doing my when they came up mime. Have a look at when they came up over 2020 and have a look at what was going on in your life and see if this is being repeated in some way or coming back to you for a redo, for a revise, for a recalculation. Everything with Mercury retrograde is to do with the word reevaluate, revise, recalculate, revisit, retrograde, retro, okay? Going back to celebrate something again. This isn't just rehashing something, you know, going back and being unproductive about it. This is actually the chance to revitalize something. So this, I think, in terms of the Ace of Pentacles, again, is something you abandoned, rejected, or thought was lost. Now, this could also be not just for entrepreneurial self-employment, but also in terms of job openings you thought were gone, prospects you thought weren't going to come back to you. The seeds of this may yet be planted again, especially if you look over and see what was happening. For example, I think last October 2020 we were in Mercury retrograde, but have a look on the calendar. You would be surprised how often it's like a sort of bouncing ball. Themes just keep bouncing from one retrograde to another until you get the lesson, until you get a chance to really build on it. This is a building energy. Pentacles are a building energy, but they're also very rooted. So if you're having ideas that this is fanciful, that this is something you could never it could never happen, you know, it's almost like a silly dream. No, this has got legs. Then we've got the Five of Pentacles. Again, another pentacle. Five of Pentacles is a really interesting card. I love the Five of Pentacles. So in the Rider-Waite card, you've got two people who are kind of in need of help. And they're going under a church window, which is lit with 5 pentacles. And they don't go into the church. It's freezing cold. One of them's got like a broken leg. They're on crutches. They're poor. They're hungry. But still they don't go into that church. Fives are disruptors in the tarot. This is meant to disrupt your energy. Mercury retrograde is meant to disrupt your energy, not just annoy you because your phone freezes. Leave me a comment, by the way, give me a chuckle in the comments box if something has happened to you, like your boiler has broken, your phone has frozen, you've lost your keys, all that kind of stuff, just to keep me company, because I do all of those things when Mercury's retrograde. Now, back to the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles is a card where you choose to stay outside. Look at this. There's a key to the door. Where's the key? There it is. Leaning up against there. There's a key to the door. This person chooses to stay outside. They can go in if they want to. It's warm inside. Sorry about that. There was someone delivering a parcel. They can go in if they want to. The key is there. Everything you need is inside, and yet you decide to stay outside of the loop. You decide not to take the easy option. This is what I call the spiritual walk in the snow. Fives are disruptors, so you don't necessarily, and this is something that happens in Mercury retrograde, you don't necessarily feel the benefit during the retrograde period. You usually reap the benefit in the next retrograde period, okay, which is usually about 3 months along. There's about, I think it goes retrograde 3 times a year. This is choosing to be uncomfortable. It's choosing to be outside your comfort zone. It's choosing to walk your own spiritual path. And as we know, if you watch the dailies, spiritual growth, it ain't easy. It probably isn't comfortable. It usually feels like a bit of an uphill struggle. It might feel like you're out in the cold. You may not wish to follow the fold of what everybody else is doing. You may be going against people's advice. People may be saying to you, this could never happen. This idea, perhaps for business, or even this idea of a relationship, or whatever it is that you're proposing, it's ridiculous. You know, you're daydreaming, or even not even being that open with you, but giving you those hints that they're not really on board with you. So you may be on your own with this. And most great ideas, you have to strike out. So this Mercury retrograde is retrograde in Aquarius as well. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is a planet of invention and surprises, and a lot of Aquarians, and give a shout down below if you're an Aquarian, a lot of Aquarians don't colour inside the lines, okay? You know who you are, Aquarius. I've got my Venus in Aquarius, and it's a slightly rebellious sign. Not necessarily outgoingly rebellious, but just in the way that they think. They don't follow rules. Aquarius breaks the rules, and that's what inventors do. This very much is a Mercury retrograde of invention. We get the Death card, which is also the Rebirth card. Scorpio energy, the ability to take yourself from one kind of area of living or one way of thinking or one path and really transform things. But like I said, you probably won't realise that the transformation is happening while it's happening. It may feel like you've just got a load of daydreams. People may be hinting that to you. You may be starting to take that on board. See if you can tap into your kind of spiritual, rebellious human streak. That will be really useful to you this retrograde. Two of Wands, prospecting, looking out of the window, looking over the horizons. Where do I stake my territory? Where do I put my energy? Is it into this person, this relationship, this business model, this way of living? You might be exploring different ways of living when we come out of the weird situation that we're in at the moment, how you're going to rebuild your life. Rebirth, rebuild, retrograde, okay? In terms of the Two of Wands as well, we normally have, well, you can see it here, there's a nod to it. This is the Light Seers Tarot, by the way. There's a globe here. You may be wondering if you could live somewhere different, if you could live differently, if you could even move countries eventually or live in a different way. Now, for some of us, of course, we've had a lot of time to think over our lifestyle, think over our values, think over our core choices and where we live. Some of us have spent a lot of time where we live, looking out of the window like this person. This is, especially in a retrograde period, this can be very productive. It just doesn't feel like it. Now, I was watching a video the other day by an entrepreneur called, I think she's called Sunny Luzardi. I think that's how you pronounce her name. And I've watched her for a while, and she's a I really admire her. She's a very driven businesswoman. She is the kind of person that you can tell is a perfectionist and has everything kind of drilled down. She's worked really hard, but she made a really interesting video the other day, which really caught my attention, that was talking about being kind of proactively lazy. In other words, not assuming that in order to get somewhere, you've always got to be having your nose to the grindstone. This is not the same as just not being asked to do something. It's more to do with letting the elasticity of the universe come on board and help you. I suppose in terms of spirituality, it is called trusting the universe. And the Two of Wands is about trusting the universe and trusting that the universe is generous. And that really all you have to do is plant the seeds. You know, you don't necessarily have to stare them out every 5 minutes, you know, put fertilizer in or whatever people do, because I always, by the way, end up talking about gardening whenever I'm trying to describe anything in tarot, and I am the worst gardener in the world. I don't know what it is. Maybe one day I'll just wake up and be green-fingered. But anyway, you plant the seeds, and then there is a relationship with the soil, with the universe. And also there is the belief that you have that they're going to grow. They're going to almost be an entire universe inside themselves that you have planted that then blossoms and grows. That is the energy to harness during Mercury retrograde. I'm going to look at some cards now for love life during Mercury retrograde, for those of you that want to know messages about your love life, and do also check out your astrological sign reading for February 2021. Those are in the description box below. Okay, what do we need to know about specifically love life? Oh yes. For Mercury retrograde, wow. God. Okay. Definitely check out your reading for February. Okay, no big surprise there. Overall energy card for your love life, the Two of Swords. Now the Two of Swords is like a mini version of the Hanged Man. And again, there is, and it is to be expected, and it can be worked with when Mercury is retrograde. There is a sense of a pause between events. Two of Swords is two aces crossing each other so that there is no particular clear path in any direction to follow. It's easy to become frustrated in this energy because it's the energy of suspension, it's the energy of pause, it's the energy of not really having clarity in one direction or another, but instead feeling impatient, I would say, particularly if you are involved in a situation that has been made unclear, that the waters have been muddied in some way. It can be easy in that kind of situation to get into an energy which is very questioning, where you're feeling very jumpy, you're wanting answers, you're thinking that perhaps the more questions you ask, the clearer it's going to get. The message that I'm getting here is the opposite to that. The message that I'm getting is the more questions you ask, the less you're going to know. I am going to take, what should I take? I'm going to take an El Goliath card. I'm going to take a shadow card on this because it just feels right for reasons we may never know. That one's not it, but oh my God. Oh God, I was going to say that one's not it, but it's definitely part of it. Okay. That one is. I like that. Okay, the kind of red herring card, or the card that came out that's definitely something to do with it, but not quite to do with that, is the Dark Inner Swamp, or the Shadow Self. This is the El Goliath Tarot, which is essentially, it's got the 78 normal tarot cards, but it's also a shadow deck. So it's got 10 bonus cards. This is one of them. And it's very much formulated towards, I think the person who created it's a Scorpio, and it's a deck that is formulated very much towards shadow work and shamanism. We get the Sun. Now, alongside the Sun and the Shadow Self, and the Sun, of course, banishes shadows, we get Yes. And this is all on this Two of Swords energy. Within what seems to be like a very stagnant situation, there is a yes. Just to know that there is a yes. It may be a hidden yes. It may be a yes that you're very doubtful about, but there is a yes. The Shadow Self is about you. Your shadow side may be a reawakening of old insecurities. This is not to say that the person that you're dealing with has no part in this. Of course they do. But just know this is a time where insecurities might be rife. And it might be wiser. I'm just looking at two crows actually. That's so weird outside the window. Giving me an itchy nose. There's two crows. One's on a satellite dish and one's on the gutter. It's actually a pair of crows that lives across the road. They're a pairing. Interesting. That's very interesting, isn't it, when we get that? Oh my God. Do you know what? That happened the other day on the daily. That's not the first time that's happened. Lightseer's Tarot is a really magical deck. Okay, the sun comes out and banishes shadows. The sun, of course, represents fire signs, but it represents optimism. There is something about this. There is something about being optimistic. There is something about maintaining a sense of curiosity here, which you might not feel like doing, okay, but could benefit you greatly. And maybe you don't get to know why at the moment, even though you really want to. If, again, you can work with the Mercury retrograde energies and stay in curiosity rather than needing answers, I feel it will really benefit, because there will be a big change in this situation. We get the Tower. I know. This feels very positive, and it's normal, of course, to get the Tower during Mercury retrograde type readings anyway, but there's the energy of something changing, something shifting. And I think that what that is when you stop wanting the answer, when you don't need that information quite so much, that information is going to find you in a way that you probably didn't imagine was going to happen. Next to the Tower, I've got the Knight of Swords. Someone running to convey a message. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy here. When the Knight of Swords message comes in, there's no doubting that. It's like, here it comes, like a sword, you know, there's no doubting it. I feel like, and this will probably, you could find stuff out that you need to know in a weird way while we're in Mercury retrograde, but it will become very apparent what it means when it turns direct. Now, by the time you get through the shadow period, you're almost looking into, you know, March territory. You're looking into the new moon in Pisces, which is on about the 13th of March. I don't know exactly when, but I think you're rooting around in the beginning of March energy here. As in the northern hemisphere, we come into spring, the sun starts to come out more. Something surfaces that clarifies things for you. And I would say in a positive way. It's much more positive than you think. It's not the way that you imagined it. Okay? Up here we've got the King of Pentacles. Now I'm not doing reversals today, but he came out in reverse with the Queen of Cups, who also came out in reverse. So I'm just noting, and when I do Mercury retrograde readings, I don't just, like I said in the beginning, if you're doing your own tarot readings, weird things happen with reversals when Mercury's retrograde. For me, they're all over the place. Lots of the time, I don't do reversals. You don't need them when Mercury's retrograde, but I make note of the position and the fact that they came out in reverse. King of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups to me is a pairing. I don't normally see it that way, but I do. King of Pentacles is someone who is very practically driven, and the Queen of Cups is someone who is very esoteric and is essentially more emotional and is driven by scrying, the process of reading tea leaves, tarot cards, water, the air, whatever it is. She reads everything, but she doesn't need any kind of sat-nav, okay? King of Pentacles is a warm energy. I like this, but he's also very practical. He's all about this pentacle energy. You could be involved here with somebody who is in business, or you're having some kind of financial tie to do with love and finances put together, okay? This is the energy of two people who are very different, but have much more in common than they think. I'm going to take a couple of Romance Angel Oracle cards for this. This is interesting. It feels like opposites attract. Yes. Romance Angel Oracle card, we get the Religious Factors card. Now, this is a card that for me, Your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing or spiritual path, okay? These two are on a very different spiritual path. I'm not sure he's on a spiritual path in particular, or if he is, he's not aware of it. He may even be a bit afraid of it. Queen of Cups is completely immersed in it, but at the same time, they're both not really in their element. If you are involved with someone during this Mercury retrograde and you're trying to communicate in this relationship, neither of you are your best selves at the moment. It feels like with this Tower moment, there is a critical piece of information that comes in that changes things and transforms, I would say, because down at the bottom here, I've got the King of Cups, and the King of Cups and the Queen of Cups are a pair. And I don't normally say this, but I think it transforms the King of Pentacles into the King of Cups so that he gets much more into feelings, okay? Now this can represent masculine or feminine, but it's about a person who is very practically driven, maybe not very comfortable with their feelings, becoming a lot more comfortable with that kind of energy after this Knight of Swords surprise information has come in. Oh, leave me a comment about that. It's really interesting. Let's have an oracle card. Yeah, I'm going to take that actually. Here and now. This is about being in the here and now. Because if you are in the future, you're going to be worried about it. If you're stuck in the past, it's that thing I talked about where you take something from the past, but also it gets a revamp. It's alive again. If this is about relationship or if it's about a business idea or anything in your life, it's not about taking something and just doing it again. It's about reliving something and breathing new life into it so that it changes. So to be in the here and now is to remain curious. That is probably my biggest message for Mercury retrograde. Remain curious. And then we get to be fair. And this is about Libran energy, but also being balanced. Be balanced about this if you can. Maintain a balance between the need for answers and the ability to be able to go with the flow and trust with that Six of Pentacles that the universe has a gift for you in this Mercury retrograde. I really can't stress that enough, okay? So do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the like button and check out your February readings in the description box. But otherwise, yeah, leave me a comment. Put all of your wisdom and advice for Mercury retrograde in the comment section, and I'll see you soon. Namaste.